Against the public.
Against the public, yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
makes sense to me.
that can be a way to find owned teams to play potentially, right? If because you got to think about it, the public is betting $100 here, 200 there. The pros are betting
God.
thousands, right?
Sorry, I just saw Beltron's not in the lineup. I have so much Beltron.
I don't have
God damn it.
I don't have any Beltron.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, I think that can be a
that's
way.
not good.
I think that can be a way to find some low-owned stacks and teams. What's up, Steve? So I'm gonna put together. I'm gonna try and put together a spreadsheet. I gotta find out how to easily organize all the data without having to search everywhere for it because some sites want subscriptions, and I'm not gonna pay a subscription to find line movement because you can find it on your
And,
own.
and that's and that's something that really is going to come out like within these next 2 hours, right?
Well, it's all day. I mean, if Baltimore opens up at minus 120 and throughout the day they move down to minus 110, but 75% of the bets are on Baltimore.
But essentially, it's going to be moving one way or the other. I mean, it could be going one way and then could turn to go the other way. So, you really don't want to look at it until
Well,
closer
yes or
to
no?
lock.
Yes or no? Because if the smart money is on one team, right? Because you got to remember that smart money is the pro betters, the guys betting thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. If they're betting
Mm.
on Boston early in the day, they're not going to change their bet later on in the day. So typically, line movement stays one way throughout most of the day.
Yeah, I just thought you were saying the smart money is a reaction to the public.
No, no, no. It's not a reaction to. It's so without looking at the public, right? For those of you just joining, we're just talking about some reverse line movement. Um, Without looking at the public, right? So let's say I haven't seen where anyone's betting, but let's look at the first game here. Let's just go to St. Louis Cincy, right? Um, let's just say that St. Louis was minus 120 today, right? Because they're favored to win. The pro bettors aren't
Mm-hmm.
going to look and see where the public's betting. They're going to bet their money on the team they think is going to win. And so even if 75% of the public is taking St. Louis, if the pro bettors are taking Cincinnati, you're going to see this line move closer to zero. Yeah, you're going to see it go from negative 120 to negative 110
Right.
because
Makes
Vegas
sense.
Vegas is going to hedge their bet, right? So if they're getting 75% of the bets that are $100 on St. Louis, but they're getting 25% of their bets that are thousands of dollars on Cincinnati, well, they don't want to risk it all on Cincinnati, so they're going to move that St. Louis line closer. And that's just kind of how you get it, your everyday better versus your big time better.
Yeah, that makes sense, man.
So, like I said, I'm
For
going to try and
sure.
put together a spreadsheet and find it. I'm not going to pay for. Um, I'm not going to pay for a subscription that shows me the movements because, like I said, you can figure it out on your own. I just got to do some digging and find out where it is and how to easily organize it because it's not hard to do, but it could be extremely helpful. For those of you guys on FanDuel today, there's a shortstop that is $0 on Kansas City. He's not playing. I was waiting all day to see if he was going to play. He is not. But if you want to take a zero,
$0.
if you want to take a zero and get a high price pitcher and a nice stack, it's very doable. I was able to get McCullers with Houston and Chicago in a line with him. I decided against playing him once I saw the line was out, but it is worth noting if you feel like, hey, I'm gonna get a zero anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree with that.
Just updating these lines right now. The last two that came out, no Beltron and
There's no Marisnik,
no Marisnik,
no McCann.
no McCann's playing. He's batting fifth.
Oh, is DHing? Or is Gaddis and McCann?
Yep,
Yeah, I see that now.
McCann, Gaddis, yep.
Gaddis is the DH. Yeah, I was high on Beltron today, man. I like that spot for him.
No Salvi either.
He's heating. He's heating up too. Like, I don't know why they take him out. It sucks.
Interesting that they took Salvi out. That makes me like McCullers a lot more. Salvi's been killing righties more than lefties this year. And without him,
Yeah, he's one of their biggest bats, man, for sure.
thoughts on Alex Gordon? Hit his first home run yesterday.
I won't touch it, man. He could be negative 2,000.
All right, update all that.
Him and Escobar just what
Bad.
a fall.
Bad.
What a fall.
Jag says, so a 0 or a 3 for Motter. Decisions.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, there's definitely not a lot to like at shortstop today.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a viable option, just punting the 0. Maybe he comes in, gets a pinch hit or something. I don't know. Literally, it's a free play. But then again, you're betting on your big bats going off because, we've seen time and time again that the smaller bats can do work. But on the flip, you're gonna be able to pay up for pitcher and pay up for your bats. So, worth noting. All right. Let's look at Boston and New York, Mike. David Price, Michael Pineda. I think it's going to be a pitching duel. I'm still not touching any of the bats. I know we talked about that last night, whether we were looking at bats. I'm not going to do it, but I love David Price. I'm going to go 50-50 on lines today with half Price, half McCullers.
Yeah, I was kind of buying into this being a pitching duel. Vegas is as well. I was, doing my research today, and I found that David Price last year, he's actually had his most starts in his career ever come against the Yankees, believe it or not. Last year, he started 5 games against them. In those 5 games, he had 30 earned runs. 30 earned runs, 5 homers, and 4 games with 8 hits or more.
Wow.
So, very poor performances in the 5 starts against the Yankees last year. I don't know. Definitely worth noting. I posted it on Twitter if you guys want to see the stats, but actually I'll post it in the River group too, actually. But that's concerning to me and the way the Yankees... I was thinking both these pitchers, both these teams are good.
Oh, yeah, both
I don't know.
teams have
It's still
the
tournament
ability to
plays
go
to
off.
me. These 2 pitchers are both tournament plays still for me.
I'm really interested to see where the ownership is on FanDuel. So you have McCullers at 9.7, Lester at 9.5, and Price at 9.5.
Yeah, I think Price will have the least ownership by far.
Then give me Price. I'm going to stick with my strategy of 50-50. I'm going to go, like I said, I'll hedge with McCullers.
I'll have some Pineda in tournaments. I won't have any Price. I'm going to buy into those numbers, and I liked Pineda more last night anyway. So, but I don't like either of these pitchers that much. Pineda's a tournament play for me.
Cool. So if you're not going to play Price, are you stacking against him?
I was thinking about it, and now that Beltran, I had Beltran a lot of Beltran because he's been hot. He's playing Hamill, lefty righty. He's been better on the left side. So now that I have to pivot off of him, I'm thinking one of these top 2 bats with Gardner and Hicks. I think Hicks is probably the better guy. I generally like him more from the left side, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to find pivots off Beltran now. So I just saw their prices there, and they're the exact same price. So I think those guys are in play. So.
By the way, I was wrong last night. I know I said Price has not faced a lefty this year. He's faced 2.
Also, if for what it's worth, Chris Carter, 2 straight games with a home run. He was about a foot and a half away from having 2 home runs last night.
Are you going back there, Mike?
I'm thinking about it maybe in a line. He's got the lefty-righty matchup. We've seen him have streak in the past, and the dude's home run or nothing, so it makes for a DFS punt.
Let's see. Let's pull up some of these numbers here. As you guys know, I'm obviously digging into this pitch data. So, Yankees kill fastballs.
Yeah, it's David Price. He's got movement on his fastball, though, so... Fastball, changeup, curve, or no, slider. If I remember.
Yeah. He throws a fastball, changeup, slider. Yep. Correct, Mike. Correcto.
Again, 35 starts against the Yankees in his career. Seen a lot of David Prince.
Yeah. What's his? Do you know his career record? I'm interested.
Against the Yankees overall, I don't know his career. I just looked last year, and he's, again, I told you, he's 1-3 with, you know, he was very bad against the Yankees last year.
That's fair. Damn it. Trying to load this information up for you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna stay on David Price, so we'll see who wins this battle, Mike. You have to enter your Pineda line in the free roll because I'm gonna play my Price line in it.
Okay, I haven't changed the dummy line. Usually when I make the contest, I just put the dummy line in. I haven't changed that yet. I will do that. I'm playing Pineda in the free roll on FanDuel, guys.
Bet. Damn it!
I'm gonna post those stats in River.
Carter, the one-handed homer.
Seriously, man. And then the night before against Porcello, right before he hit the homer, because I don't think he hit the home run on Porcello. Actually, he might have, but he just literally he swung at a pitch that almost hit him in the face. So the dude just, I don't know. I don't know why he wouldn't even pitch it in the strike zone because he's still gonna swing at it.
Volquez and Cole. So over the last 3 games, Mike, the Pirates are the hottest team. Second hottest, I'm sorry, behind Seattle.
As far as runs per game?
As far as runs per game. They are scoring.
They were in Baltimore.
Yeah, they're scoring 7.33 runs per game. They average 4.2 on the season. For what it's worth, much better away than home. They're averaging over a run more per game on the road. But I think Pittsburgh could be a sneaky stack. We still don't have this lineup. But they're always one of the last to release it. It's really irritating. But Edison Volquez just threw a no-hitter. And I don't see anybody hopping on Pittsburgh today. They don't have really the sexy names. They don't have any, glaring stats, power stats. They're in a pitcher's park. Are you surprised at the implied total for Pittsburgh, 4.58, and how heavy favorited Garrett Cole is?
I am surprised by the heavy favorite of Garrett Cole. I do agree. I like Miami today. I do like some Volquez today. The only really guys I was looking at strongly on Pittsburgh was David Freese and Elias Diaz. I think I'm going to have a lot of Elias Diaz today.
He is cheap, and I can't imagine he doesn't play.
He's my catcher punt. So, and then on the other side, I think that I like this Tyler Moore, JT Riddle 2-man for just a double punt, pretty much.
Okay. Tyler Moore's minimum salary on FanDuel, yeah?
Yep. JT Riddle is also very cheap. So, I like that 2-punt. I think you can run it back with Stanton. I mentioned last night on the show, Garrett Cole's having a home run problem this year, so I do have that 3-man stack.
See, I actually made a Pittsburgh stack. Granted, Jordy Mercer plays. I guess he's not a complete punt, but he fit a stack. Bell, Polanco, McCutchen, and Diaz is a 4-man I looked at. You can wrap it back around with Frazier if you want at the top. I'm not going to do that. And then Freese and Harrison are the same exact price on FanDuel at third base. I think I'd rather have Freese for the home run potential.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't 100% hate it. I do have some Volquez exposure today, so I wasn't super high on Pittsburgh, but I will have Diaz in most of my lineups tonight.
Yeah. The only reason I did it in one line only, and it's to get... Oh, we just got the lineup right now. Bet.
Hopefully Diaz is in there because it's going to cause problems.
Well, I don't know who else they have at catcher at this point. Frazier,
Sure.
Harrison, seriously.
Yeah, that's what I was banking on.
Polanco's third, David Freese, Josh Bell is fifth, McCutchen, Diaz is going to bat seventh. That really fits my Freese, Bell, McCutchen, Diaz. Or Polanco,
yeah.
Freese, McCutchen, Diaz. You can go anyway. And then Jordy.
Cool. Yeah. I don't hate it.
Jose Ozuna's not playing, Jack.
I will say, though, like I said, when you talk about the last 3 games we're in Baltimore, this is a negative park shift for the hitters, positive for the pitchers. So I could see a nice scoring pitcher out of either one of these guys, Cole or Volquez.
It's fair. I do like a Miami stack as well. Stanton, I love D. Gordon, actually. He's been hot. So looking at Gordon, Stanton, I like the Moore and Riddle. You can go that whole wraparound right there.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
So, um, wait. Nope.
Wait.
Josh Bell's not in the lineup.
Are they playing Jaso?
Yep. And, yeah, at 5th. Well, that's an easy fade for me. I'm not playing John Jaso.
Bump to Volquez.
All right. Baltimore, Washington. So this was a game stack until half of both lineups are out.
Yeah, I wasn't really on the expensive bats in this game anyway, so that kind of helped when I saw the lineups. Kind of like the guy I was on moved up, so I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, obviously not pitching either of these guys. I think you could definitely look at targeting them.
Do you think?
What's your first thoughts here?
Well, so who was it in the chat? I think it was Michael was asking about Lind Weeder's stack for the 4 or 5 for cheap. I can see it. Stephen Drew is at 6th bat, and he's 2,100 at shortstop, a position we like to punt. Maybe worthy of a punt. I don't hate it. This whole Nationals team legit has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys under 3K in it today.
I don't play Stephen Drew.
Stephen Drew, Wilmer Defoe. I like Defoe a little more.
He made want me to rip my eyeballs out when he played for the Yankees. In the 2 lineups I have Volquez, I have Weeders paying up there. Got OPS so close to 850 this year, and I didn't really find any other catchers I wanted to pay up to that were in really like playing like poor pitching. I don't know if you found somebody. The only other guy I could think of was like Gaddis or McCann.
I have Gaddis or Diaz in every lineup.
Right. So I got some Weeders, and then I was all over this Scope Mancini 2-man, and then this lineup came out and was like, word. I'll take it. I think it's cheap. Mancini obviously hits homers. Scope is on a little bit of a roll, so hits righties well.
Yeah, I'm on some Seth Smith. I was on Adam Jones. Now he's gone, so might have to adjust and look at some Scope at second base. That's hard, though, because I was all over Cano today. And Cano's 35, Scope is 34, so we'll see. I'll go back. I'll go back and adjust some lineups. Trumbo, maybe. I don't really want to look there though. Davis, Mancini. I think I don't see anybody on Davis today because he's $1,000 more. So maybe in a tournament, if I can afford to get there, I do it. And then the bottom of the order is trash. 6 down is no thank you. So. John asks, why do I like Defoe? He's all red. Yes, 100%. Nothing special about this guy. But he fits a position that is punt-worthy at shortstop. And he's 2,100, batting behind Trey Turner and in front of Bryce Harper, Adam Lind, and Matt Wieters. If Defoe gets on at all, maybe get the points for the base hit and points for the run at 2,100.
Yeah, again, we keep talking about, we're going to drive this point home, guys. Find the position that's top-heavy, that you think the ownership isn't going to be spread out as much. Then go look at the prices at the bottom and find which guy is playing the worst pitcher. Don't look at any of his stats because they're all going to be crap. He's a punt. So just find out which guy's playing the worst pitcher, and that's where you go. So I think that's kind of where you were at with Defoe, I imagine.
Yeah, and that's the same reason I looked at Drew. I would say both are of equal talent. Maybe Defoe's a little faster.
Probably.
But Drew is probably in a better RBI spot. So factor that in, right? Defoe gets on base, gets knocked in. Drew might be the one knocking somebody in. So take your pick. Jackass, is Harper a good one-off? If you want to pay up, I'm
paying up in the outfield.
I'm looking at other guys personally.
I'm looking at Springer, I think. It's kind of crazy to say over Harper, but I don't know. That's what I have right now.
I just don't see Harper getting a lot to pitch. I don't know. With the bats around him, I don't know. I could see him getting, unintentionally walked. unintentionally, intentionally walk. You know what I mean? Where they just throw.
Yeah,
They're gonna throw on the corners, and Bryce is either gonna have to take his walk or swing at bad pitches. So,
exactly. Yeah, it happens to a lot of these guys.
Chicago and Tampa. These lineups are out. As we said last night, Tampa doesn't hit lefties. Look at all the red for them. The two guys that concern me are obviously Steven Souza Jr., who is not great, but he's righty lefty matchup, and then Logan Morrison has hit lefties well this year. So relative for him, he's never going to be a high average guy, but he's had power versus him. And then you have Chicago, who's been bad against everything. So pitchers duel maybe. Derek Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking of?
Personally, I'm playing 10 lineups and I have no part of this game at all, so it's been a fade for me all day. I was interested in Odorizzi, but I have heard his name a little bit today, so that took me off of him.
Real quick, Mike, just another question on this punt thing.
Yeah.
Someone asked, how do you find the worst pitcher? Like, how do you know who's the worst?
Yeah. It's just you gotta kind of just compare it to you find 2 or 3 punts, you look at the opposing pitchers, and then you kind of just make a decision from there. There's no real worst pitcher rankings.
I think you can look at a couple things. You can look at their stats that we have here on the page, right? Their WOBA against them, hard contact, fly ball. I'd look more so at hard contact with punts than fly balls, unless it's a power punt. I think you're just looking for guys to get on base as a punt. Home runs are awesome, but most of the time, not going to find that. So I'm looking at the hard contact, the average against, the WOBA.
And ballpark is a factor for punts as well, I think.
True. Ballpark is a factor. And I think you can also I also think who they're batting around is important. So the reason I look at Defoe and Drew is Defoe has guys behind him that can knock him in, and Drew has guys that can get on base that can put him in an RBI opportunity. Whereas someone like J.J. Hardy has Caleb Joseph and Joey Rickard in front of him. I don't necessarily have faith that J.J. Hardy's going to come up very often with guys on base and have a chance to knock him in.
True. That is true. Position in the order. Definitely different things you got to consider. Baseball is a tricky DFS sport, so many different nuances as far as picking between 2 or 3 potential plays,
Mm-hmm. What do you think of Adam Engel as a punt today leading off for Chicago?
Honestly, never heard his name, to be honest, so I don't know anything about him.
Okay.
I guess we can look up his stats right now.
If
you want to continue, I'll do that.
Yeah, he only has 10 plate appearances on the year.
Well, I meant minors and...
Oh, gotcha.
What kind of play... imagine if he's leading off, he's not a power hitter.
No, he's definitely on base guy, but the problem is anyone going to knock him in?
19-round draft pick, 2013, 25 years old. So, obviously, outperforming expectations. Last year in AAA, 161 plate appearances, 357 in AA. So, split the season. 31 stolen bases in AA.
That's what I was
batted 255.
Yeah. What's his stolen bases? So, if he gets on. Okay.
Yeah. 65 stolen bases in single A, but it's single A. That's when they're trying to establish speed. I think 80 stolen bases isn't out of the question in single A.
You think I could get 80?
I think you could, man. we could probably combine for 80.
Do you think I could get on base 80 times?
True. No, I'm serious though, because I worked at the minor league park for a long time, and I remember the speedy guys, they just want them to run all the time. That's part of the development of speedy guys. It's just can keep running. Every time they get on base, they run.
That's fair. So yeah, I think both. We're looking at this game. I don't see any reason to play any of the bats here. There's just so many better options and so many worse pitchers to attack. Not that Holland's good, but he's been good versus lefties. I have to give him that. And all the power in this lineup is lefties, or reverse splits. Tim Beckham. So, Philly, Atlanta. What are you looking at here with the Phillies, Mike? I think they're in play. I'm really liking a kind of wraparound stack here. It's kind of an odd placement, but it's Saunders,
Yeah.
Galvis. Herrera, and then I got to throw Altier in there for cheap. He's 3,200. So,
I mean, to me, I don't know that you make that a big stack. I think you go two man. I think you go Saunders, Galvis, two man, or you go like I have a lot of 1-3-3 today. Most of it is Herrera and Altier, but I do have Hernandez as well. So obviously, I'm trying to attack Dickey. Almost a 10 total in this park. I like that. Ben Lively pitching for the Phillies. Unfortunately, it's not Blake Lively. That would be nice, but we got Ben today. NCarte Kemp, if you want to pay up, I think Ruiz and Swanson. Obviously, Swanson having his big day yesterday. I don't know, buy low candidate?
I'm on 4 through 7, Mike. Kemp, Adams, Flowers, Ruiz.
I have Adams, Ruiz, and Swanson.
Okay.
So I'm on the bottom of the order as well. I'm not paying up for this against Lively. I feel much better paying up for Phillies against Dickey.
Truth.
Even though you don't have to pay up for Phillies.
I was gonna say it's not like there's.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
getting the better bats. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather pay up to the top of the order against Phillies than bottom of the order.
Herrera has completely flipped his season around in a series.
Yeah, I don't really think he's good though. Like I really wouldn't expect anything over 250 on the season from him.
You don't think he's a good hitter?
I don't think he's gonna be this great.
I disagree. I think
he's great. I don't think he's an all-star caliber player.
I think he's got potential. I do. And I think he has like major swag too. Dude, he's like super fucking confident in himself. I love it.
Maybe. There's that, man.
There's something to be said about confidence in a sport where it can get down really easily.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a guy that you want when he's on a hot streak. If he's got swag, I mean, he's definitely the fire's been lit under him. So I do have some Herrera and I like Altier.
Facts. Colorado, Chicago. So I'm going to go right back to the exact same Cubs I had yesterday against Tyler Chatwood, who's had a little bit of a home run problem himself. Schwarber, still 2,600, batting ninth. Give me Happ, give me Rizzo, and give me Zobrist. Bet.
Yeah, the more this has gone on, this feels chalky to me, this Cubs lineup. Does it not to you?
It does, and that's okay with me because the fact that I can get Schwarber and Happ for a combined total of 5,700, and then Rizzo, I'll pay for Rizzo, and Ben Zobrist is only 32. I can stack Astros with the Cubs. That feels like heaven to me.
Yeah. No, I think it's probably where a lot of people are going to go today. So I talked about playing the plays that are too easy, and this seems like the go. It's like Chicago's on a roll versus a pitcher that has been up and down. It's, not a great pitcher. Same with Houston. So I agree. The way I kind of attack the chalk most of the time, because I wasn't all over this Cubs chalk. So the way I'm doing it is I have one-offs of Schwarber, Happ, Rizzo, and Zobrist. Like I don't have a two-man or a stack anywhere, but I have each one of those players at least once.
I'm with you.
That's how I'm going to try and stick with the chalk in a sense. But also, it made me want to stack Colorado in one line. So I do have a lineup with Blackman, Arenado, and Cargo. But I also do like Lester a lot today. I think Lester will have some ownership.
I think he's deserving of it.
I do like Lester today.
I only like 3 Rockies versus lefties, and it is 4. Blackman can hit anyone right now, but he's mad expensive for. I don't know if I want to pay. I don't know if that's where I want to pay up if I'm paying up against Lester. But Arenado, Reynolds has absolutely destroyed everything this year. I believe it was him and Jake Lamb are fighting for the RBI title. So Blackman got surpassed. Yeah. But
problem with Reynolds, it's just home run or bust, man. He's batting under 200 in the month of May. So it's like, I don't know. I really do buy into I know you get the points for the home runs, but I like to have some sort of floor.
What about Arenado? We remember when in the beginning of the year we talked about him being a reverse splits guy?
Mm-hmm.
Batting .417 in 65 plate appearances versus lefties.
Yeah, I have Arenado. I think if you want a one-off against Lester, if some ownership, he's the guy for sure. And I only went Cargo just because of his price on DraftKings. He's in just as big a slump as Reynolds without home runs, So
Yeah.
but he's very cheap. So, oh yeah, and Story. I have Story.
That's
I don't
the third guy.
I don't have Blackman. I have Arenado, Cargo, and Story.
That's the third guy I was gonna mention his Story.
I don't have Blackman. I have Story, Cargo, and it's only one lineup. I have that stack, and then I decided to pivot off McCullers with Lester in a few lineups.
It's fair.
Like I feel like he's the pivot.
Houston, Kansas City. I talked about Houston stack. I love it. It's my favorite stack of the day.
Yeah, me too. I have Altuve, Correa, Springer, Reddick. I had Beltran.
Gaddis and Gurriel.
Gurriel.
That 2-man is money.
Yeah, I might get me some Gaddis now that Beltran is out. Problem is, I don't know, man. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I mean, pivot off of that. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
What's the difference in price between Beltran and Reddick?
Like $1,000. Beltran was 4,800.
Damn. Well, that wasn't even they were the same exact price on FanDuel. So I mean, I could have made that pivot. I didn't have
that. Would have
Beltran.
been an easy pivot. Yeah. I think I'm thinking when I saw Stanton, I did make a few switches to Stanton from Beltran. I'll talk myself onto that, but I don't know. I haven't really thought of anything else, man. I'm thinking Nelson Cruz in this next game.
Bro, I'm telling you, the stack that nobody's gonna have is Gaddis and Gurriel because of all the high price.
I have some Gurriel.
Well, yeah. But I'm just saying, I don't think.
Well, I had Beltran because he was going to be in that 6-hole.
Yeah, I see everyone paying for Springer, Altuve, Correa, McCann. I think people will automatically go McCann on DraftKings because he's cheaper, and on FanDuel, same price, you get lefty righty splits. And I don't think a lot of people will look into the fact that Hamels worse versus righties, and Gurriel hits righties better than lefties. Everything is lining up for that 2-man right there, Gaddis, Gurriel. And then Bregman's not a terrible punt at third at 2,900. And then I'm going to finish it off with Springer and then Altuve or Correa.
I might be able to go take out Diaz and Beltran and go Gaddis and Reddick.
Okay.
Nope, that's not going to work. Oh, well. I'll have to figure this one out, man. Definitely what I'm going to have to work on after this.
Sorry,
But yeah, I thought Beltran was going to be batting 6th in front of Gurriel, so I had that too, man. Just like you have Gaddis and Gurriel. I paid up to Correa once. I wanted more, but he's just really expensive.
He's mad expensive.
Would you rather pay up to Correa or Springer? I think
Correa,
yeah.
I just think Correa's. I mean, I know he's cooled off, but I buy the splits. I think Correa has hit righties better than Springer has.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna buy into that.
It's fair.
Obviously, I'm not playing Kansas City. I'm full McCullers today. If I'm not on McCullers, it's Price, like I mentioned. So
I have 2 lineups without McCullers. No, I have 1 lineup without McCullers. I'm sorry. And in that 1 lineup, I played Eric Hosmer.
Okay.
Because he's really cheap on DraftKings in the middle of a hot streak.
Fair. And lastly, Minnesota and Seattle. Game stack option for sure. I actually don't find myself having any Minnesota, but I have a lot of Seattle. If Ben Gamel leads off, I like it. I love Robinson Cano. I mentioned him earlier. And then I love Kyle Seager tonight, who I think's been hot. And then Taylor Motter and Danny Valencia. And Mike Zunino. I have like 6 guys in different spots.
Yeah, I toyed with 1 through 4 on Minnesota. Like, they were in and out of my lineups through the whole process of building. But I don't have any either. Cano and Seager is my exposure on Seattle.
Okay.
Maybe some Cruz now that I'm trying to pivot off Beltran.
Well, if Cruz plays, I don't know who will.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, I forgot that they took him out.
He had that injury. I don't think he's on the DL, but
never mind.
I don't know if he's playing yet. And then Twins, yeah, obviously, I think they're very much in play. I think they might be a lower owned stack too. I think everyone will go attack Gibson, and the fact that Seattle is scorching hot of late, I think more people will play Seattle. So Twins could be a contrarian stack.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Again, I liked it. I just didn't. I don't have any of it.
That's fair. All right, give me your top three pitchers. Let's do that little thing.
I am gonna go McCullers. Um, I'll give you four because I can't decide. I have McCullers, Lester, Pineda, and Volquez.
Okay. I have McCullers and Price as my two pitchers. I'm not going to go anywhere else, but if I wanted to throw a GPP line in there, ironically, I mean, I actually think I would GPP Lester and, well, I'm not going to, all my lines are GPP today. I'm not playing cash, but I'm playing Price over Lester, I guess. I guess Lester would probably be, well, I don't even want to say Lester is the better cash play. I think McCullers is a cash play, and I don't think you go away from that. I think you can rotate between Lester and Price for GPP if you want.
Yeah, I have a lineup of both.
So, all right, favorite pitchers to attack and with who?
Okay. I'm gonna go Houston number one. Obviously, I'll pick three. Um, Springer, Gurriel, and Correa. And then I like Gaddis call as well. Then, so that's attacking Hamill, by the way. And then I like the Cubs, but again, I'm going to get away from it. I think I'm also going to go after Garrett Cole today with this cheap three-man, like I said, with Riddle, Moore, Gordon, and then Stanton. And then the Phillies attacking, who was it? The knuckleballer. I can't think of his name right now. Dickey. All right, Dickey.
Dickey, I was like, wait, I'm not following you, Mike.
And I like number 1 through 3. Cesar, Altier, Herrera.
Okay.
Or Herrera, Altier, actually.
All right, so I'm gonna attack Hamill. I'm gonna go Astros. Astros my number one stack. I'm gonna go Cubs number 2, and I'm gonna go Phillies number 3. And in those stacks, I have Ian Happ, Anthony Rizzo, Ben Zobrist, Kyle Schwarber for the Cubs, George Springer, Altuve, Gaddis, Gurriel, Correa as well. I just obviously flip flop those two. Bregman's a decent play as well, and then Phillies are a mad cheap stack of Altier, Herrera, Saunders, Galvis.
Yeah, agreed. And then again, I like Scope Mancini 2-man. I like Adams and Swanson and Ruiz off Atlanta. Who else? Arenado and Story, I think, is a good 2-man. Cano and Seager. So it's kind of a little look into where I'm at.
It's fair. So, all right. Well, I'll be back later tonight. Mike's got his usual Thursday night thing, so I'll be going. I'll be on. I'll be on with Theo.
Going into Philly tonight, dude.
Yeah,
it's gonna be lit.
Mike's gonna have some fun in Philly. So.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'll be back tonight. We'll break down tomorrow's slate, and good luck and have a profitable Thursday. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday. Profitable Thursday.
Today's Thursday.
So.
Yes, sir.